Isaac Sarason is a skilled hacker formerly employed by British Telecom-Sprint. With his health failing, Isaac did the only thing he could think of. He ran. He found a haven in a working-class district of the city known as Little Russia. There Isaac took on a new name, Ishmael. Within hours of his arrival, he was embroiled in the affairs of a brutal member of Lomidze organized crime family known as Leo. Convinced by a longtime friend, Frankie, to flee from his commitments to the Lomidze family, Isaac found himself hunted by the ruthless Leo. On a rooftop, far from witnesses, Leo murdered Frankie. Only through the use of his skills as a hacker was Isaac able to drive Leo off. Now wounded, alone, and far from help, Isaac depends on the kindness of strangers. What do you do when the only way to save those you love is through the use of proxies? Colbyjack.net is proud to present Firmware Proxy by Colbytrax. 11. I worked my way through my recordings of my fishing expedition through the BTS phone network. I found David Levine of Special Accounts voice on the recording. I isolated it and fed it into a RealAC vocal filter. The filter would shift my voice into a close approximation of David Levine's and supply appropriate background noises based off of what was present in the original recording. In the bad old days of social engineering, there had always been the chance that your target knew the sound of the person's voice you were pretending to be. Today, those without forethought were the only ones who assumed that risk. That's why it is a good practice to record your conversations while fishing, especially when spoofing an AI operator. I slipped into the BTS phone network through their AY143 switch. I used the test codes I'd grabbed in a different life to achieve root-level access of BTS's phone network. In a world of dynamic software switching and IP phone numbers, creating a new extension took only a few moments. I set the extension to carry the outgoing identity of David Levine's extension, switched on the RealAC voice-changing software, and dialed the extension in the Sarar offices. "Hello, David," the soft-voiced AI operator answered. "How may I help you today?" "I need to speak to the agent in charge of the Isaac Sarason case," I answered. "So formal today, David," the AI purred back. "Don't you know who originated the investigation?" Shit, this was not good. David must have a working relationship with the agents. I thought for a second. I hummed as if embarrassed. You caught me. I was hoping to slip past you without you discovering my little error." "Little error, David?" The voice purred in my headphones. "I accidentally deleted several fields on the payment authorization record." I mumbled my answer out as if in embarrassment. The AI made a small laugh. "And how did you do that?" I mumbled something. "What was that?" "I was drinking coffee and had the record open." "Drinking coffee?" "Yes, drinking coffee. I spilt the coffee across the keyboard. In my attempt to prevent the liquid from damaging it, I hit a few buttons while knocking the coffee out." I paused. "You know how it is with liquids and computers." "Oh, yes, I do," the AI laughed. "So what I am doing is trying to reconstruct the fields I destroyed." "Which includes the investigating agent?" "That about sums it up. Please don't let anyone else know how boneheaded I was." "Not a problem. I'll transfer you to Steve. He's the investigating agent. See, I've already given you your first missing data point." The AI laughed and transferred me. "Hey, David, how's the kids?" A heavy bass voice said as it came on the line. Kids? Did David have kids, or was this a test question? Were there already red flags firing across the Sarar? I had to hit fast and hope his emotional responses pushed aside his defenses. "Sorry, in a bit of a hurry. What was the payout to Leo and David Chakava?" "Payout? Payout?" I hit a nerve. "There is no payout. We've got warrants out for both their arrests." "Really?" I said, forgetting the role I was playing. "Who is this?" Steve asked. "Give the challenge of the day." Oh shit, I'd been burned. I hung up the call, erased my phone internal extension, and shut down my system. There was no way I was going back online without a rerouting of my network connection. It would be a bit of work, but it was worth it. Leo and David Chakava were both involved with BTS, though it didn't sound like BTS had enjoyed the relationship. 12. I woke with a pounding headache. The room was blurry. A wall of gray lace blocked my view of the room. Behind the wall of lace, a blur resolved itself into Farhan. The lace resolved itself into the form of a burqa. My mouth felt as if it were made of cotton. I tried to speak. My tongue wouldn't work. The husky, soft voice of Fatima came from the wall of lace. Shh, shh, everything is all right. You passed out on the toilet. Everything will be okay. How many fingers am I holding up? Fatima lifted a blue rubber-gloved man's hand before my face. I counted the fingers slowly. Why didn't I know the number without counting? Damn it, I knew 3 fingers when I saw them. I tried to speak. The words came out slowly and twisted. 3! I saw stars before my eyes. Good, good. The damage isn't as bad as I thought, Fatima said, his voice full of sadness. I struggled to piece words together. What was the first word? What? I slurred. Second word, action word. It's what happens to people. Happened? I twisted my tongue around the word. It was so hard. Need another word, a binding word. Fatima placed his hand upon my chest and made a shushing sound. No need to continue. I can guess the rest. I collapsed. The room spun for a moment, and I closed my eyes. Your implants shifted. My eyes grew wide. Not a lot, but enough to cause additional hemorrhaging. I had to drill a series of holes in your skull in order to install additional pressure release valves. Damn! There was a lot of pressure on your Broca's area. The fact that you understand me suggests that the damage is localized to speech generation. If we are lucky, you should be able to recover slowly. Why? I gasped. Fatima walked over to the table and picked up the MOSPA infoscope where it sat still attached to the Opemapo null. I believe that the magnetic fields generated by the infoscope are the root cause of your problem. As your doctor, I must demand that you quit using these. He put them down. His burqa swirled as he walked back to the bed. He pulled a phone from his pocket and held it before my eyes. On the screen were the words, "Can you read this? Answer by typing your answer below." A cursor flashed above a simulation of a keyboard on the screen. I lifted my hand slowly and tapped out. I can read this. Good. The aphasia appears to be non-fluent and restricted to problems with articulation. I recommend bed rest. I would recommend a full-blown neurology department. But from my experience, people who hide in catfish factories aren't generally interested in the attention a hospital stay would generate. I took the phone from Fatima and typed out, "How long do I have?" Fatima examined the screen, then turned toward Farhan. Farhan nodded toward me. "You have a month, maybe 2. But only if you avoid physical activity and do not use the infoscope again. Your next coma could be your last. I generally avoid making predictions of mortality, but in your case, the evidence is clear. Your implants are killing you. If you don't have the implants removed soon, you will be dead. And you can't do that without a full neurological suite." I took the phone one last time and punched out. "Get me a screen. I need to work." 13. I reestablished my link to the network using a path even more complicated than before, though I still terminated in the red square switch. I was working with a keyboard on my lap, 3 pillows behind my back, and an ancient high-def Sanyo 40-inch television perched on the room's solitary table. Ferran had a trio of burly men wearing red rubber waders, thick black beards, and the stench of fish cart the beast of a television into the room. They moved the heavy table into position with a great deal of grunting. Their black eyes regarded me with disdain as I performed the task. They left as quickly as they entered. Ferran remained only long enough to urge me to follow Dr. Fatima's orders and not do anything to elevate my blood pressure. I nodded. Words still didn't come easily to my lips. I examined the red square node, inserting backdoors and monitoring packages into the device. I then routed my spyware through a series of encrypted proxies in Nigeria, Sweden, and Kenya to the Gnomes of Zurich, an anonymous data storage service in Switzerland. From now on, every packet of data which passed through the red square node would find itself copied and stored safely within the vaults of the Gnomes of Zurich. If you ever need to store something beyond the reach of man, you couldn't do better than the Swiss. Naturally, the system would ignore my passage. Routing through a series of network switches in Russia, India, and Belgium, I accessed the Brotherhood forum. There was no way I could accomplish what I needed to do alone. I was flushed from the effort to get this far. I needed a proxy, someone with access to the assets I needed already, someone I trusted and trusted me as well. I was sweating bullets by the time I got into the forums. I added a new topic titled, Desperately Seeking Rama. I struggled over the next several minutes to put the words in the right order. Finally, I had a message that I believed said it all. Rama, contact Tarsus via Brotherhood IRC channel, pound Tarsus. Desperately need information from city. Will monitor. It wasn't poetry, but it was enough. I created the IRC text chat channel and set the new message notification alert to maximum volume. I didn't know when he would see the message, and I was beyond exhausted by this minor amount of network manipulation. I felt like I had just climbed a mountain. Sweat poured down my brow, my head felt as if someone had stuck an ice pick into it, and my hand shook. IRC is an ancient text communication system, developed at the dawn of the network as a method to rapidly distribute information in a low-bandwidth manner. IRC exists mainly because anyone can set up a server in less time than it takes to block them. The latest version of the IRC system masks itself as remote monitoring signals, the kind of thing used by HVAC units, semi-trailers, and even the traffic control systems used in modern cars. The truly sophisticated systems actually insert their messages into the monitoring packets of the systems they are piggybacking on. In a world of nearly unlimited bandwidth, no one notices an extra 1,000 bits a minute. The Brotherhood IRC system is rumored to piggyback on the International Air Traffic Control Grid hosted out of Brussels, using the distributed bandwidth of 100,000 airliners, cargo, blimps, and flying cars to mask their activities. I've never been able to verify it myself, though now that I think of it, if I were able to find proof of how it operated, then anyone could. The truth is probably something more benign, probably a cloud distributed computing center out of Bangalore. The rumor of a shadowy cabal communicating via hacked aircraft operating systems is enough to support a robust counter-intrusion industry specializing in all things that fly. If you go up to North Shore, I can guarantee the Mercedes Saab dealership will sweeten the deal by offering to throw in 2 free years of AVG mobile defense. Firmware, Proxy, is the second book in the Firmware pentology. That's 5 books, if you must know. It begins moments after Firmware Hijacked ends. So if you haven't heard or read Firmware Hijacked, this would be a good time to head on over to Colbyjack.net and either download the podcast on the audio side, read the episodes on the visual side, or download the Colbyjack Sunday Reader issues 1 through 20 in your choice of either EPUB or Mobi. Firmware Hijacked and Proxy are both available in ebook versions from our store at shop.colbyjack.net, amazon.com, and Barnes & Noble. Just search for Colbytrax. That's Colbytrax. I'm the only one. A complete audiobook version of both Firmware Hijacked and Proxy is available for download through our shop as well. If you don't need any stuff, but would like to support our work, drop on by Colbyjack.net and hit the pretty little donate button conveniently located on the right-hand side of the blog roll. If you're on a smaller screen, the button will be found at the bottom of the page. Firmware Proxy is released under a Creative Commons, non-commercial, attribution, share-alike 3.0 license. Do what you want with it, just don't sell it, and always tell people where it came from. If you received this from a friend and want more information about Colbyjack.net and our split personality website, just drop on over to Colbyjack.net and select either the audio or visual side. The audio side carries our podcast, while the visual side carries our writings. Whichever side catches your fancy is fine with us. We're of two minds about the whole thing anyway. If you want to get social with me, I do mostly Twitter. So if you do the tweets and want to follow me, I'm Colbytrax. Spelled the same as above, Colbytrax. We could sing that all night long. Thank you once again and have a wonderful week.